In the last couple of videos, I've done some servicing on Sony BETACAM UVW series, my own being one that got gummed up because I neglected it a bit and let it sit around, and I showed how to kind of free it up. This time I'm going to go through the maintenance that you can do using the engineer's service menu without even having a tape. You can run through all the mechanical adjustments. It's pretty cool what you can do. I'm going to show you how to do it. Check it out. In today's video, we're going to go through the maintenance mode on a UVW series of BETACAM recorder. This is a UVW 1400, but the 1300, the 1800 are exactly the same. To enter the test mode on this, you press, when the machine is on, you hold the menu and the left arrow key, or the A key, simultaneously, and that'll enter maintenance mode. And I'll say SV check, which is servo check. On the screen, you'll see this. And this is the mode where you would make adjustments. So we press the right arrow key, then we can get into sensor check, motor check, plunger check, auto check. Sensor check is for doing that, checking the ID and the tape and end sensor. So if I go say tape top end sensor, well, first of all, yeah, we'll do them all. Cassette ID, start, press OK, and I'll say switch 1 is a large hub and switch 2 is metal oxide type tape. So this is where you would press the buttons inside the tape compartment to test the reels. So let's just press those buttons and watch what happens. There's little switches inside. Small and large hub, of course, refers to the hub size here. This is an oxide tape. This one's a metal tape. And this is a large hub. So on the bottom, there will be switches to detect whether it's a small or large hub. And here they are here. One tells it whether it's a small or large hub. The other tells it whether it's a oxide tape or a metal tape. There's no holes on this one because it's a oxide tape. So in other words, if this tape here was an actual BETACAM tape, it would just have this one punched because it's the one on the left, and this would be filled in. If it was a large hub BETACAM tape, that would be open, and also this would be open. So both of those, if you break that tab out, it's going to think it's a large hub. That changes the torque for the take up and supply motors. So it knows how much torque to apply to the tape based on the size of the actual hubs here. These are the two switches down here. Switch 1 and switch 2. So you just press those down and it'll show up on the screen when you press them. This is what tells it whether it's a large or small hub tape. And switch 2 is whether it tells it whether it's a metal oxide tape. Those two switches. Let's check the next ones. So we press the menu key to get back out of there, and the next one we're going to go down to is cassette compartment. It tells you right here and on the screen. Cassette compartment. Press OK, and I'm going to start it. So now I got to trigger the 3 cassette switches. These ones here would be in the cassette compartment itself. That's number 1. When I press it, there'll be 2 more of them in here. That's number 2 over here, and it tells me that number 2 is lit up. And the large cassette switch, there'll be another switch in here somewhere for that, for the large cassette. There it is, right down there. It's right there. Okay, if you can see that one, that's cassette 3 right there, and it lights up on the screen that I've done number 3. So that's the 3 switches on the cassette compartment that you would check. Menu key to go back. This next one down is the tape top and end sensors. This is where you're going to use a screwdriver and you're going to put it in front of the sensors because they're magnetic. So we press the right arrow key and press the yes key to start. And now I look at my screen and I use a metallic object such as a screwdriver. I'm going to hold it in front of the sensors and it'll show up on the screen that they've been triggered. The sensors I'm talking about are these ones down here. There's one of them right there. And it says tape end sensor on, and the other one is this one over here. You just hold a screwdriver in and this is what shows up on the screen. So the end sensor is the one on the left. I just hold a screwdriver in front. This is to simulate the magnetic end of the tape, the metal tape. And here's the top sensor. So those are now reporting that those are working. So those sensors are verifying that they're correct. Next we press the return key, and if I go to humidity moisture, I have to start it, and it's dry. It says on here dry, and if I want to test that, I just put something moist on the humidity sensor, like a wet finger. So it's right down there. Wet finger in here, and that sensor should say damp. Probably take a few seconds to trigger, but if the humidity sensor is working, that will say wet, which it just did. It turns the drum on. Now I probably have to wait for this to dry before I can do anything else. And it's gone back to dry as I just wiped it off, and the drum will probably stop spinning here in a minute. Once again, press the menu key, and I'm going to go down, record inhibit, and press start. There's two of them, one for the small type tape and one for the large, and they're on the edges of the tape. So let's trigger those and see what happens. These sensors, of course, are located here. One is there, that's the supply, or the small reel, and the large reel one is over here. And they just show up on the screen when I press them. Small reel, large reel. Go back out, and we're going to back up from this one, so I'm going to hit the left arrow key. Motor check. Okay, let's do the motor check. Supply reel, I press there, and press set, and now when I hit the up and down keys, the supply reel should start to spin. So let's check it. This is the supply side motor, and when I turn it, when I press the button, it turns one direction, and press the other button and it turns the other direction. So that works. We'll get out of there by pressing cancel, and the next one we'll move down is to the take-up reel, which is done the same way. And we're going to move over to the take-up reel over here, which is this guy down here. But that reel is turning both directions. We'll get out of that by pressing menu, and next one we'll go down to is threading. Press the OK button, and then I'm going to press yes. And now I can actually operate the threading mechanism without the tape in. So I can check the threading motor without risking a tape. Neat, huh? We'll hit menu to go back, and the next one is cassette compartment. So I go cassette com, it says cassette compartment on the screen. Press start, yes. I hit the cassette compartment is now up, and if I press the right arrow key, it will load the cassette. So if I press the right arrow key, it will load the cassette compartment without a tape. Press the right arrow key again, and it will eject. And I'm doing that just by pressing this button here. And you can see the cassette compartment moving. So that checks the cassette compartment. To get out of that, we're going to press the menu key, and we get a capstan and drum motor, and the reel position motor. That's going to be the fun one. Capstan, hit the right arrow key. Start is okay, and it says press the start key, and it says capstan is now turning forward, and it's checking it, and it says it's okay. Press the right arrow key again. Now it goes into reverse. The capstan motor is spinning. It's measuring the speed, and it's okay. So to back out of that, we press the menu key. This time we'll go down to drum. Drum test. Press the right arrow key, and it says press the S key to start, and the drum spins up, and it does its self-test that the speed is okay, the phase is in lock, and the pulse generator, the PG pulse, exists. So that's good. Hit menu key, stops. Here's the fun one. I like this one. Reel position. Press the yes key to start, and now I can just hit the right arrow key and watch what it does. Just hold it. This is going to give the mechanism a workout without actually having to load a tape. So you can do this maintenance even if you don't have any Betacam tapes to play. If you're like me in the archiving business, I have some tapes I can run through it. But if I don't necessarily want to run a bunch of hours up on the heads, you know, it's good to play them once in a while just to make sure everything works. And I try to run a tape through about a 30-minute tape or so every month. I try to run through the machine. But this is a good workout. Just hold the button in here and just do this and do it a few times, and this will keep all the mechanism nice and free. And of course it tells you on the screen what it's doing. Anyway, that's the basic maintenance for just doing your mechanical monthly checks. I didn't even get into calibration. Let's go to the servo calibration. Let's go back, hit the menu key again, and we'll hit the left arrow key. Oh, plunger check. I didn't do that one. Pinch, supply reel, and take brake. There we go. The brake is off. Supply side brake is off. And it's on, and we'll go to the take-up side. Take-up reel is this one over here. And there it is. And then back, I'm just hitting the menu key. Let's try that pinch roller. I hit the right key here. Did I hit the right key? There we go. It's going to load it and operate the pinch roller. There we go. Pinch is on. Hit the down arrow key to take it off. Hit the up arrow key to put it on. And then hit the menu key, and it will unthread the pretend tape. So those are those steps we can go through to check out the mechanics of one of these Betacam decks. Menu key, whoops, wrong button. Get back into my maintenance menu. That was servo check. Let's go to servo adjust. And this is where you can adjust the capstan and supply take-up speed. I don't know if I'm going to do these or not. I'll just kind of walk through here. I guess I can do them. Start okay. Yeah, and what it's doing now is it's now checking all the servos. Checking the supply reel FG duty check. And it's now adjusting the offset and the friction. While it's doing this, the reels are turning. It's now adjusting the supply side torque. And it'll do the same thing for the take-up side, I'm sure, once it's finished this. Now it's doing the take-up reel side. It would be real nice if consumer machines did all this stuff for you. But that's the difference between a $500 machine and a $50,000 machine. I think this machine was around, I think these were $14,000 or so. This one, 13 or 14,000 when these were new. But you get the picture. That's the difference between a home deck and one designed for broadcast use. These ones were also designed for ease of maintenance for the maintenance staff. They could just walk in and push a few buttons, and well, the machine is designed to basically repair itself. Other than changing mechanical parts, the electronic adjustments self-calibrate, which is pretty nice. On the screen it just says it's adjusting. So presumably so that the engineer did not have to have a monitor. If it was brought into his shop, he could work on it without actually having to look at a monitor. Just wait for the adjustments to finish. It's actually doing the capstan free speed adjustment now, so it threaded up the pretend tape as it's doing that. On here it says complete, and it says complete on here as well. I'm now instructed to press that key, and the other options on here is you could adjust the supply reel only, take up reel only, or capstan. What about tension? I probably have to put a tape in for this one. Maybe not. Let's see here. Magnet and hook position. Let's see what happens. Start. Adjusting. Oh, okay. So I have to set the... Oh, so I'm not going to bother with this one. So I'm just going to cancel out of this because I have to actually set things up. So we'll just bail out of that. Abort. Okay. So we won't do anything to that one because I don't have any means to set that one up, and I don't want to mess up my machine. So I think that was it. RF switching position, and we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about this one either. So we're going to back out. Other one was service support. This will just show me any diagnostics that were stored on this one. Error logs. I'm sure there's been a few that there has been on this machine. I can probably just error diagnostics. All the errors that this thing's had over its life. Device diagnostics. Manual eject. But we don't need to do that because there's no tape in it. Others. we can check the software version, memory display. System memory display. Not going to make any changes on this, obviously. And SV memory display. Get out of that. I'm not going to make any changes to that. Okay, I'm going to get out of here and just verify that everything still works on the machine. Nice dropouts at the beginning of the tape. That's where they always occur, is at the beginning. That's why, you know, when you're dealing with tape, you always put color bars on for the first minute. Like, you never ever started at the beginning. It was always color bars for a minute, and then typically black for 1 minute, and then your program started at the 2-minute mark. Sometimes later, but usually it was 2 minutes. That's why they always gave you, like, instead of being 30 minutes of tape, they would give you like 32 minutes, 34, 33 minutes, 64, etc. Because that was to give you the run-in time at the beginning where you could run the tape in and all the dropouts would clear away. Because in the broadcast world, in the professional world, you did not load tapes and unload them mid-tape. You always rewound the tape to the beginning before you removed it, and then you didn't have to worry about the tape getting damaged from threading and unthreading in the middle of the tape. That was rule 1. In fact, in many stations that was a fireable offense if you were changing tapes mid-recording. The exception to that rule being cameramen out in the field shooting news, and they were doing their cutaway shot. So they would shoot their interview, and then they'd change tapes and load another tape and do their cutaway shots. They might go back to the original tape to shoot more. A lot of times they would just unload it and leave it at that, and then it would get loaded back in at the studio and rewound back to the beginning. But you didn't typically start swapping tapes constantly, because that's when damage is going to occur, is when you swap the tape. Rewind this one back, and I'll load a large tape and then verify that everything is working. And then we'll close this video off. No, it's not the same tank. The first one you saw, that was my starter tank that was done in, what was it, 2006. That was my first saltwater aquarium, and I had that one for about 4 years, 5 years or so, and this is my second one. This was my 90-gallon tank. This was the last tank that I had, and most of the fish that are in here were in the other tank. They just kind of outgrew it. So I had a lot more coral in this tank, much nicer setup. But as I say, all good things have to come to an end, and the fish all had their own natural long life. A couple of them jumped out, but eventually they all expired. All that coral, the lights started to fail. The manufacturers didn't make the halide lights anymore for my fixtures, and the cost of upgrading this to a LED was just a cost that I wasn't willing to go down that road. $4,000 for lights. I said forget it. So now the tank sits empty. It's got all the live rock in there still, but nothing else in there but water and live rock. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to throw a TV up on the wall right where the aquarium was, so I can play this and it'll look like I have an aquarium. Anyway, thanks for watching.